Hi, Kerry here from MyCloud Bookkeeping. If you've seen any of my videos, you'll know how important the bank feed is, reconciling is, keeping all of your records tight and up to date. It's kind of the key to automating and you're having those up to the minute results. Recently, Cindy from Pizza Places in San Francisco reached out to me, and when we went to look at her bank feed, it looked completely different to anything I'd seen before. Instead of the normal match and add, it said review and confirm, and I really didn't have a clue what I was looking at. So I don't know what it's like for you when you open things up and it looks so different to either how it did before or to any of the other instructional videos that you find. Now my guess is because so many people are having so much difficulty matching and adding on the bank feed, QuickBooks are trying a new format to see if they can avoid some of those really common errors. If this is what you see when you log into QuickBooks, I've got instructions to follow that'll help you to work with this new format. Now be sure to watch right through to the end because I do have a lot of other resources that'll help you to work with the bank feed in QuickBooks Online. Here we are in a fake company I've set up and imported bank transactions to. So we're going to pop across here to transactions. On yours it might say banking. It's basically where the bank feed is. Now let me start by saying I really do not like this new format with this confirm and review. I'm not sure if it'll be easier for you or not, but I guess time will tell. Now on the first row here you can see that there's an amount payable to Intuit. So this is part of what I don't like actually. It's got this minus here so that you know it's money out. And QuickBooks has suggested that this is advertising. Now I know that it's a payment processing fee, and I also know I have quite a few of these. So I'm going to sort by description up here, and then I'm going to scroll down and find all of these Intuit minus amounts, and here they are. So what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to select them with a check mark on the left. So we know that all of them are payment processing fees from Intuit. They've collected money on my behalf. QuickBooks has suggested it's advertising. We know it's not advertising. So there we go. I've selected all of them. And this is one of the things I do like. I can click up here to update. I can select a transaction type of expense. I can choose a category, which will be a payment processing fee. And I can apply this change to all of the transactions I've just check marked and confirm, and they pop into my QuickBooks all as payment processing fees. I'm not working on rules right now. That's definitely a different video. So another thing that we have a lot of here are deposits. So QuickBooks has decided that these are sales, and let's say that's correct. I can go along here and I can confirm and confirm, or I can once again do a bulk thing. So I'm going to pop along here to all of these ones here that say deposit and a sales, not something else. I'm going to select them all. And there are a few more down here. Now this is only if I know these all are sales that have not been previously recorded anywhere. So if you think you've previously recorded these, do not confirm and add them, and I'll explore that a little bit further. But here we go, I confirm and add all of those sales into my QuickBooks. Now, some of the notations here show that records have been found. This is what I was referring to when an entry has already been made in your QuickBooks file. QuickBooks is going to attempt to match, which was what the wording was before, which I must admit I did prefer. But we can see here, I'm just going to do a quick search this way so we can see what's been found. So quite a few of these here have come from Intuit, and they've matched, which makes sense because if I'm using Intuit or QuickBooks as my payment processor, then they would have already entered the invoice, or I would have already entered the invoice before I sent it to someone to pay. So I'm going to click this Intuit one because I know that would already be in QuickBooks. I'm going to grab this one here as well. I'm going to grab this one, so Intuit, sales receipt, they're matching. This one here's a deposit, so I'm not going to grab that one. I'm just after these Intuit ones because I'm pretty sure that those have already been added. Does that make sense? Hopefully. If not, check out my matching deposits video or write a note below. Okay, so we'll confirm these ones. Now here we can see there have been 2 records found that could potentially match with this deposit on July 2nd. So let's review it. We can see here there are 2 sales receipts, one from June 24th and one from July 2nd. I'm going to match with the July 2nd one. So we'll go confirm. And then here we have the remaining one is left, which was the one for June 24th, and we can confirm that one. So this is where, if you already have entered a sale in QuickBooks, you don't get that match and add, which I liked before. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's the alternate screen that I mentioned earlier. So we're confirming things that are already in QuickBooks as being correctly matched to the transaction. And I hope that that's not as confusing as I think it is. Now, there are also some expenses that were previously entered into QuickBooks that we're going to match. Now, you can see here, remember I imported this file, so I made these things say payroll. And in this case here, this is payroll, this is payroll, this is payroll, this is payroll. We're going to confirm them. But I happen to know that this one here is not payroll. Please ignore the description here. Let's pop in, because you're going to get weird descriptions from your bank feed anyway, so it's not unusual to have to check that. Look at these weird things here. So I'm going to pop in and have a look at this expense here. And I'm finding it very curious that QuickBooks has made this word payroll here. It's another reason I'm not loving this format, but I've categorized this expense as a rent or lease expense. So I can see that it's in QuickBooks as a rent or a lease, so I'm happy with that. So if I go back here and I just pop it back up here, I'll match this, but I'm not delighted that the word payroll is here, but understanding that the underlying transaction is okay, I'm going to confirm this. This whole matching, adding, confirming, reviewing, it really is very confusing. So if you're feeling a little unsure, watch this again, check out some other videos, ask me a question. We'll walk through another couple of examples and hopefully it'll start to make a little more sense. I'm going to pop this back into date order and see what else we have here. Let's go to here. Let's scroll down. Here we go. Here we have a transfer to credit card. So QuickBooks doesn't know what to do with this. It's asked us to review it. We can select a transfer account, record it as a transfer, and I'm going to transfer this to my credit card. So let's see what I have here. I have a credit card. So I'm going to record this as a transfer to credit card and confirm. Now, I think I have another one of these transfers somewhere. Well, I guess we can just do any that we want, can't we? So we click review, record it as a transfer to my credit card. There we go, and confirm. So as you're walking through these, just carefully think about them. Like here, for example, we've got this word payroll. So now QuickBooks is suggesting that it's rent or lease because of what I did earlier. So if you just hit confirm to that, you'd be putting this amount in as a lease, which is probably not correct. So do be very careful. Either recategorize this. Let's see what we can do. We'll pop in here and we can categorize it as something completely different. So if we knew it was payroll, we could categorize it to payroll. Normally that would be already entered. It could be a subcontractor expense, for example. So if you know what it is, put it to the correct place here. Don't just go along with QuickBooks suggestions, okay? It's the artificial intelligence. I've mentioned this quite a few times. And for example, here we've got, a $1,200 payment processing fee. Clearly not correct, but one of the few other expenses that we've worked with today, a minus amount went to payment processing fees. So do be very, very careful when you're working with the bank feed. You're probably tired of hearing me say that. So here we go. Here's another deposit as sales. We'll confirm this one. A bunch of other kind of weird things I've imported. Oh, here we go. Let's do a transfer to a different credit card account. So this is a US dollar credit card, which kind of all are in this example, but here we go. We'll record that payment or the transfer to the US dollar credit card. Hopefully that's starting to explain to you a little bit how this confirm and review is working. I don't love it. Only a few of my clients, as I've mentioned, have this screen. I'm hoping that they get rid of it and go back to the match and add. But if not, hopefully this will give you a little guidance what to do. So as always, while you're working with that bank feed, take care. Just slow it up. Make sure that you're not adding transactions that are already in QuickBooks. Really, this is where I see most of the errors and messes. I have some checklists below, one for matching transactions on the bank feed. Yours will look a little different. Another one for month-end checklist to help you make sure you've got all your books in order at the end of every month. Do always reach out if you have any questions. Also have a bank feed training course if that's of interest. I'm sure there's a link below for that too. And yeah, just reach out and click like, subscribe if this is useful, and I hope to hear from you soon. Cheers.